1910s, one of the most popular and affordable recreational activities for the working class was heading over to dance halls. One could get in for 1 or 2 nickels. Taxi dance halls are places where men could pay to dance with young women, were popping in urban centers like Chicago, New York, Detroit, and San Francisco, for the same type of clientele that might pay a woman for the time of day to day: lonely new immigrants, socially awkward men, and disabled or elderly men. You might consider these taxi dance halls a forerunner of the modern strip club, except with clothes and a lot more touching. Taxi women, so called because they charged according to how much time they danced with a man, similar to a taxi driver's fee, earned negative reputations as prostitutes. In the 1910s and 20s, dances were about 10 cents a minute, and at one of the last remaining taxi dance clubs in 1990, Flamingo in Los Angeles, that rate was around 35 cents a minute. Taxi dancers in either era didn't get to keep much of those profits, so women depended on tips for good income. Women with the gift of gab did especially well. Many of these positions were filled by women most in need of work and reflected ethnic and class demographics. For example, most Chicago taxi dancers in the 1910s and 20s were Polish, matching the influx of Polish immigrants at the turn of the century. In the Polish community, girls were expected to be earners and contributors to the family, and these taxi dancer positions sometimes gave them a chance to establish independence. Dance halls were somewhat regulated by the Juvenile Protection Agency, who made sure taxi dancers were 21, licensed, fingerprinted, and photographed. But of course, underage women slipped through. Girls weren't allowed to leave with customers during working hours. Because many of these halls were located near saloons and brothels, regulations didn't quell rumors about prostitution or the loosening of morals. A disapproving commentator in 1925 Chicago said, "The taxi dance halls are organized to exploit, for a profit, a situation of promiscuity." Just 4 years earlier, San Francisco banned women from working as taxi dancers, and all the halls in the city shut down. Keep in mind that these halls were popular in a time when social purists were increasingly concerned with preventing girls from being promiscuous in a society they saw with loosening morals, and it was a time when traditionalists were growing alarmed at women entering the workplace and living independent lives. Many patrons of taxi dance halls were adamant that the main draw was having someone to talk to. By 1954, so many clubs had shut down after nationwide regulations, the end of Prohibition, the passing of the Great Depression and World War II, that a sociologist published a book detailing the passing of the taxi dance hall. He painted taxi dancers as predatory women who enjoyed exploiting physically and socially handicapped men. The idea that these men enjoyed paying for guaranteed and stress-free attention from pretty women was not entertained. In the 70s, when taxi dance halls saw a resurgence in Los Angeles, many patrons were single, foreign-born Asian and Hispanic men, reflective of immigration trends at the period. And guess what they were looking for? Dance and conversation. With strip clubs and cam shows in abundance today, the trend of paying women for their dancing, attention, and time has held firm for over a century now.